An update tonight on the Mountain View fire that is continuing to hold at 2,800 acres. Crews responded to the Mountain View fire on Wednesday that was caused by a lightning strike and is burning in the Buffalo Trail area southeast of the town of Molt. Now, the fire area is comprised of steep rocky terrain with homes along the southwest perimeter. Today, fire resources are working to achieve a 3-chain standard for control, which is equivalent to 198 feet, reaching from the perimeter of the fire inward. Crews are evaluating and initiating suppression repair and decommissioning fire lines that were laid during the initial attack. Helicopters and crews are on alert to respond to any fire starts that happened today, and the fire had no growth over the evening and is continuing to hold at about 2,800 acres. No structures have been burned, but there are no evacuations or warnings in place at this time. But the public is discouraged from traveling in the area due to fire traffic and safety concerns. Well, turning to national news, the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, has signed a declaration of local emergency for the city in preparation for Hurricane Dorian. The Miami mayor said Saturday that the emergency declaration will give his administration the ability to make whatever decisions necessary to protect residents throughout the storm. Now, the mayor said although Hurricane Dorian's path has shifted north, the city still faces tropical storm force winds and potential flooding. Dorian is now a Category 4 storm with top winds of 150 miles per hour. Emergency officials advise residents to remain vigilant and keep watching the forecast. Now, as the path of Hurricane Dorian shifts and slows, it's left the threat hanging in the balance for millions of Floridians. And our Matthew Smith is in Jupiter, Florida, where just the threat of Dorian has altered everything, closing down businesses and sending people scrambling to fix plans made months in advance for Labor Day.
Here in Jupiter, we're seeing everything is changing. Docks, boats, they're all coming out of the water. Fewer and fewer people are coming out here, which is pretty strange for a Saturday. Then you have the wedding venues. Oh, the wedding venues. That's changing quickly as well. Just down the road, Jonathan's Landing is prepping to close for the weekend. A problem for Betsy Copley.
I like that arch.
Who was planning a Sunday wedding. That is, before storm prep started everywhere.
Because of our good friend Dorian, who's not invited to the wedding, no, a lot of people were unable to make it due to the hurricane, but everyone that's here was obviously supposed to be here.
She's taking it in stride. She and her soon-to-be husband, Ben Kozak.
You guys need a Gatorade or anything?
Flew folks in early, moved the date up, and are already ready to rock and roll a day early. Meanwhile, we saw crews at local marinas prepping for a possible landfall. The docks essentially empty, an odd sight. One couple out for a last-minute ride said they stocked up early, so they were taking one last chance on the water. A little shocked to see no one joining them.
A couple weeks ago, it was so busy we had to park on the grass. So we got a little warning from the police department for that. So usually it's pretty stressful to launch a boat here.
As the hurricane path fluctuates, we too are seeing plans fluctuate, but we still see a lot of people out here, including police, trying to keep an eye on everything going on out on the water. We're in Jupiter. I'm Matthew Smith. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Matthew. And we will continue to follow Hurricane Dorian with crews on site, keeping us updated. We will keep you updated both online and on TV. Well, a tradition here in Billings revving up once again. Thousands enjoyed the Burn the Point parade in downtown Billings last night, and today a chance for a better look at the classic cars. The Burn the Point car show featured about 300 antique vehicles, and the organizer says some of these were barn cars and needed restoration, while others may have been maintained through the years. Burn the Point weekend benefits the Chase Hawks Foundation and its Community Crisis Fund. The car show brings together a special passion for cars.
Motorheads are strange ducks, but they're some of the best. They put their heart and soul into their cars, and they live for their cars. They're just a great bunch of people. The American people just love it. Anything that goes fast and makes lots of noise is good and fun.
Now, we're told there has been some confusion about the future of Burn the Point, and we are also told that it will continue and stay on, and Sylvia will stay on as organizer while we wait for her replacement. Crow Chief Plenty-Coup died in 1932 and left a legacy of the wisdom of peace and education. Today, people both on and off the reservation celebrated on his land, and Q2's David J. has more on the 25th annual Day of Honor at Chief Plenty-Coup State Park.
The Day of Honor is a celebration and a chance to remember Chief Plentycoo.
Chief Plentycoo was the last traditional chief of the Crows. He was the transition chief. He was born in Buffalo days and he passed away in the reservation days. And part of his vision was helping his people sort of adjust to a new way of life.
It's not just to honor Chief Plentycoo, but to honor the Crow culture and the Plains Indian as a whole.
Just outside the chief's front door, about 25 yards on down, is a sacred spring. And if you get past here, about a football field or two away from the spring and the home, is this orchard. Some of the trees are still up, and these are apple trees planted by Chief Plentycoo.
We have two species of these apples here. There's Chief Plentycoo Wealthy and Chief Plentycoo Duchess of Oldenburg. You can go and reach one and pick it off the tree and taste the same apple that 100 years ago that the chief would have been reaching up and taking down.
The chief wanted to pass on the ideas of peace and education.
His famous quote with education is, "Be educated. You'll always be an equal. If you're not educated, you'll always be subservient or not be able to be on the same playing field."
His message was meant for everybody, meant for the world. This park was meant for the world. He gave it to the people.
The fact that it's been going for 25 years, it's expected and looked forward to every year.
And they were probably pretty surprised they made it to 25 years ago. We're still going. I think we're here to stay.
In Pryor, David J., MTN News.
Thank you, David. And he says Chief Plentycoo used to bring the people together on the land to also celebrate the end of summer and the harvest. Well, stay with us. More to come on the 5:30 news. After the break, we take you to Yellowstone National Park, where a business went through some major renovations and is opening their doors once again. Later in sports, the Cats and Grizz are back. Highlights from two big road games to open the season coming up. But first, let's check in with Brett McCrummon over in the Weather Center.
Yeah, we have a beautiful Saturday for the long Labor Day weekend. Let's take a look at current temperatures. We're at 88 degrees. We've got south winds at 6 miles an hour. Our humidity is low. We're at 22% and our barometric pressure is falling. How long is the warmer air going to last? Well, we'll tell you that with your complete forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker weather with Rob Griggs, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.